Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Bobby J on 30A. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, and Bobby Johnson is here with us as always.
Chris,
what's up, sir?
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How is it's busy time for you right now? It's like summer.
It is
30A.
summer, and I thought I'd throw this on for you just so you could understand, like, we're in the thick of it here, right?
That is amazing.
What do you think of that hat, huh?
I like it. It has all. I think of Margaritaville. I think of.
So when we do a lot of paddle boarding here, right?
Yeah.
Have you paddleboard? Is paddleboarding big out?
I guess. I mean, I guess, but I haven't done it a ton. So.
Okay. So this would be the kind of hat you would wear.
Yeah.
And it kind of keeps the shoulders all blocked, and I go out fishing in it, or I actually wear this thing. So
awesome.
in fact, people will fight me for it, actually. So.
He will fight.
But it's my summer hat. I thought it was appropriate. I didn't tell you I was going to throw it on either. So
I appreciate it.
I will take it off just so you can focus and not.
You kind of had, like, when you flipped the bill up, it looked like Steve, what's his face from Three Amigos.
Yes.
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah, there we go. Well, yeah.
Steve Martin. Yeah, there you go. You do look like, who am I thinking of? Steve Martin? No,
I always get told I look like Steve Martin. How funny you say that.
Yeah. With the hat on, I was like, oh, there it is. That's totally it.
Yeah. Well, and then
that's hilarious.
Too. Yeah. So
that's good. Right on. Well, that's who you can be for Halloween. Let's talk about green grass, Bobby. But green grass, give me there's some backstory to this. So give me the backstory.
Yeah. So I just got back from a trip in Chicago, and a lot of Uber driving. Do you Uber?
Yeah. I love Uber. Yeah.
So, again, we live in a rural area, so Ubering here is not very common, right? So,
right.
But we're Ubering. I'm coming out of the airport, and I love Uber drivers. They're just, or Lyft drivers or whatever. They're always just full of, like, this crazy wisdom. So, we had this lady driver from the airport to the hotel, and she was just throwing nuggets and truth bombs, and I almost wanted to start taking notes. And my son was even impressed. Like, he's like, golly, I feel like it's, because I'm always doing that to him. He goes, I feel like this is someone in our family or someone like that was like gifted to us to hear these truth bombs. But right. The one that really rang a bell to me was, I also like old sayings.
Yeah.
That have another add-on to it, right? You hear it years later. So this one was, she said, listen, if the grass is always greener, maybe it's time to tend to your own lawn.
Uh-huh.
And wow, it really hit me upside the head.
It's convicting.
Because, in my business of real estate, we look at hot sheets. Our business is to look at what others are constantly doing. Right.
Right.
And so it puts you in a place at times, almost of not even enjoying the journey as much, because you're constantly, comparing what are they doing or what not. And I think I had been, or I am in perhaps a place where I'm looking at the grass as being greener. But when I think of when she said that, I really haven't been tending to my own lawn. I have been. I don't want to say I'm not, because, one of my sellers sees this. I knew he's not keeping up to his environment. But it's not really that. It's more just, am I, day to day being the best of me I can possibly be?
Yeah. That's so natural. I think there's always an inner voice, a dialogue that's like comparing. I have that. Like I'm probably the heaviest I've ever been. Coming off of, like, last summer, I was the leanest I'd ever been. And so now I'm like, I see myself in the mirror. I'm like, dude, you're getting fat. You're getting doughy. You got that dad body going, dad bod. And so I can sit there and look and pine after all the other ways I could be, but I'm not even tending to my own lawn. Like, I'm just looking at greener grass, greener pastures, and I'm not even.
Isn't that like there's work that needs to be done, right?
I know there's work to be done.
Right. I heard another saying a while back. It said, don't be upset for something you have for the work you didn't do. You know what I mean? And she was talking about, we were in a yoga class, and she was talking about, having a beach body or these abs or something. She goes, I don't know why people get upset for something that they don't have for the work they didn't do.
Right.
And so this is a little obviously different. I think it really applies to business. I think in real estate, again, is one of those businesses where we're constantly comparing ourselves. As the summer has come about, for me, you know, there's a lot of things to get sidetracked right now. You know, we have other family members to go visit, and so you are. For me, taking time off is sometimes I have guilt with it. You know. And so then I start comparing myself, and the reality of it is I really should be enjoying myself instead of comparing myself, you know?
Yeah, it's good. That's deep, man. That's deep. Because I think a lot of us have that. I think there's just a lot, like you said, comparison happens. I see there's buyers, like when I was selling real estate, there's a lot of people who have the next house they want to live in. Like there's greener pastures, there's greener grass on the other side of like, oh, if I just had that house, but they're not tending to their credit score. They're not tending to like even saving money for a down payment. They're not tending to the things they want. We want stuff, but we don't tend to it to make it happen. So we just sit there and pine over things we want in life and never actually take.
Yeah, it is. It's so true. And I think it's on so many different levels. I mean, you can take it from spirituality, health, business. And then when you get caught up in that, you know, you're really not enjoying your world, you know, at all. You're stuck over here. You know, and again, I think that our business is that you remember the hot sheets?
Yeah, totally.
You do hot sheets, right? So what is the hot sheets? Wow, I get to see what someone else did.
Yeah.
I mean, let me look at that for a little while, and then why is my thing not selling, or what am I doing wrong, or you know? And then I thought about it a little bit. You know, kind of breaking it down. We're looking at this greener grass, and we haven't even perhaps set a goal, right? We don't even really.
Yeah, good point.
There's no goal there, right? So, oh wow, I want it. What does he have? Well, but I mean, what does that even mean? I mean, maybe you are jealous of someone else's success, but your goals might look entirely different when you really sit down and think about it.
Good. Yeah, that's really good. I can see that with like relationships. If you're like, you see somebody else have a friendship or a marriage or a parent-child relationship, and you'd be like, wow, they just have it so good. Grass is greener over there. But without sitting still and being like, well, what is it that I'm really after? What do I really want to create? You would never be put in a position of power because you don't know how to get it. You'll just always be in a position of a victim because you don't know how to get what it is you want. Because you haven't decided what you want.
I almost wonder if it's maybe a level of self-sabotage. You know, I've been following you on social media, and you know, you talk about, I think one of the things that really intrigues me, and it's so true, is people do follow us whether we realize it or not. I mean, you know, you're going to a grocery store and someone will say something about my trip to Chicago, you know, and they're I think there's way more of those people following you, right?
Yeah.
That aren't liking you, or they're not doing these things, or where they're not putting the happy face emoji or whatever. They're just almost kind of voyeuristic.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Just follow, and they, you know, and so it kind of leads into this thought of marketing and advertising, in which I know that you do a lot of promotion in that area. And that's really been ringing a bell to me. It's so true when you talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. That's a great example. That happens all the time. People can look at, you know, you can go buy, you know, 10,000 YouTube subscribers and it will happen in 3 days if you just pay the right price and you get into these like banks where people have this network and so people will look at the subscriber base. Oh, they have 10,000 subscribers. They have no idea how those subscribers got there.
Right.
So you might even think the grass is greener, but you didn't even know what's happening over there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And then you ultimately, it goes back to a little bit, you know, your goals. I mean, what are your goals might be different than that person's goal, right? I mean, yeah. So I don't know. It's really that lady saying that is really,
yeah.
You know. And then the other side of what I was thinking about, you know, you have goals, and then if you must compare yourself, or you must compete, or you must look at the grass is greener, I think you need to look at yourself. Am I better than I was last year? I mean, if I'm going to look at my likes, do I have more likes than I did last year? Are more people looking at my videos versus this time last year?
Yeah.
Obviously the answer will be yes. And that's where the real focus should be versus this. I mean, have you ever been to CrossFit? Did you ever do CrossFit?
I never did CrossFit. No.
Okay. Great sport. And I have friends that teach it, so I don't want to diss it whatsoever. But for the wrong person, perhaps me, kind of a competitive guy I mean, see that scar?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's basically a broken neck from a deadlift.
Really?
Yeah, where I should have lightened the weight, and I didn't have the ability to do that. You know, so we were getting up around, I don't know, 350, 400 pounds. It was a lot of weight, right? And these younger guys, we had one bar, and we're all sharing. That's sometimes at CrossFit you'll do that, and you'll share in the lift, right? So they said to me, Mr. Johnson, would you like me to take some weight off of that? Now, I just recovered from a shoulder torn rotator cuff, right?
Nice, yeah.
So what do you think I said?
Would you like to cash in your man card? Would you like?
Yeah. Would you like some diapers with that? I mean, like, I did not have the ability, Chris, to take the weight off. So in the first deadlift I did, I thought my insides were gonna fall out. Right?
Oh,
I was like, God, this is heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And then I had to do 3 of them. I think the second one, I felt a tiny little pinch, which was basically my C5 and C6 compressing.
Oh.
Pulled down, right?
Yeah.
Like a jelly donut. Squirt.
Oh, no.
When that gel in between your bursa, it's squished together and it squirts out, right? It hardens.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and so then you have this like protruding thing in your neck causing your hand to go numb. And wow. Yeah, and so that is a grass is greener at another level, you know. I should have been focused on my own deadlift. I think CrossFit is a wonderful sport. Yeah. I think it needs to be managed though properly. Yeah. When you start talking about guys like myself that are highly, highly competitive.
So good. I feel like the breakdown, if we like back this out, we're like, well, I feel like the breakdown is that when we're not oriented in our own goals or our own power, we look outside of ourselves with like, I wish I had that, or I wish this were different, or, but what's possible is living inside of your life. You live your life, you do you. And nobody gets to say what works and doesn't work for you. Only you can say. And I think that's where we really start to feel free, is when we're living our own best life, you know?
And like, it reminds me, I mean, and I may have shared this with you one time before, Coca-Cola, right? I mean, you've heard of Coca-Cola before?
Of course. Yeah.
So I lost this listing one time, and I say that jokingly, but I lost this listing and I was pretty upset. And big listing, and my coach asked me, he says, have you ever heard of Coca-Cola? And I was like, oh yeah, you know. And he goes, okay, do you use their product much? And I'm like, no, I mean, I'm, you know, pretty much
get your kombucha. What do you
got? Kombucha. I mean, I'm kind of a health nut. I mean, I don't really, I do drink probably Coke product. I don't know, even aware of it, but I don't drink soft drink sodas. And he goes, oh, so you don't utilize their product? And I go, no. And he goes, I wonder how much money they spend in advertising and marketing. And I mean, do you think they're bothered that you know what I mean? Yeah. That you think that Coke's bothered that that Bobby Johnson does not use their product?
Right. No.
So he goes, listen, it's again, going back to what you and I are talking about, building your own fan base, one person at a time, you know, and for me, putting these on, and just dealing with it. You know, we talked to Kelsey that one time. Remember, we talked briefly about that, where, you know, some of the people are not going to like your music. People are not going to like your podcast. People are not going to like the way you sell real estate. Yeah. People are not going to, and then that's going to lead you into, if you don't stay healthy and be, I think, goal-based, keep your goals on track, and really focus in on what your task is. Yeah. Versus. Yeah. And I think, Chris, maybe other people suffer from that worse than you. Never notice those people. Here I go with grass is greener, right? Like, you ever notice those people that don't seem to really give a darn about things, and they just flow real well through life? You think they're real, or are they faking it?
No, I think it's real. For some.
Yeah.
I think it's real for some. It reminds me of the 4 agreements conversation we had, where you're like, you don't take anything personally. You're like, whether it's a relationship or somebody not liking your page or you not buying Coca-Cola or whatever, but you're like, ultimately for you to live the life that for you to do you like, you're going to have to get thick skin because everybody's going to have an opinion about how you should be doing it some other way. Like, you should be doing it the way the other person, the reason that person has green grass is because they're doing it right. And you're trying to do something else and you're not doing it right. And you have to have a lot of thick skin, for you to do
totally.
you.
Yeah. I think it can take you down a really, really short, miserable road when you start trying to figure out what other people are doing. And the reason I think this has been such a heavy thought, again, why did I even bring this up? Of course, the lady said that, but why did it resonate? We've talked recently about the market adjusting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as the markets adjust, and being a listing agent, there's things that aren't selling.
Yeah.
So what do I end up doing? I end up looking for, what's wrong? What is this guy doing? Or what are they doing? What are they doing? Mm-hmm. And I'm noticing right now that we're beginning to spend more money to sell listings and things like that. And the reality of it is, that's not the issue. The issue is the market's doing what the market's doing. And, prices will probably have to be adjusted, but it's nothing that us as agents are personally doing wrong.
Right.
It's more just, but we do find myself like judging myself a little bit during these times of what can I be doing to better? What can I be doing more of or whatnot? It actually, if you're not careful, can put you in a miserable spot.
Yeah. I think that's the issue. That's the breakdown. Well, good stuff, man. I can always count on you to bring me some wisdom. I feel like it's I'm
just glad, maybe one day my kids will listen,
I know, right?
No, Kelsey was listening, I think, and Tasha too. Brody will get there.
Do you remember Tuesdays with Maury?
Oh,
you remember that book?
Great book.
It's like Tuesdays with Bobby. Tuesdays with Bobby. Bobby, tell me something else. Keep telling me your stories.
This is it works both ways though too, because Chris, I enjoy following you, and you're full of wisdom and nuggets as well. I love
thank you.
Those nuggets. And again, I'm probably one of those people that follow people too. We talked earlier about not, I tend to not lie. I just watch things sometimes. I'm not much of a TV person. I look for people that spread positivity in the world, and I do believe you're one of those people that have a tendency to be
Thank you.
A light in the sometimes dark world.
I think that's what we're here for. I mean, that's the tribe. I think you're that way as well, and that's why I appreciate this show. I appreciate that even as much as you're a real estate agent, that you're bringing content to the world, to your community that isn't always about real estate. I think sometimes we're like, yeah, I mean, real estate's cool, but it's the bigger conversation.
This is way more fun. I like this way more.
Yeah, and this is.
Again, I got to be careful saying that, right? So people are, I'm always worried. I'm like, did I say the wrong thing? Someone's going to be thinking that I love real estate. Let me back up, right? I love real estate, but I feel at doing something for 20 some odd years, right? I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
This show and what we're doing is offering me a look into other areas of my life, which I love. I think it's a great opportunity, and I appreciate you doing this with me.
Yeah. The reality is people, there's a small window in time in people's lives where they need a real estate agent, and you talking about real estate and being good at what you do matters in that small window of time. And then there's 7, 9, 12 years where they're not in the market for real estate stuff. And this is how we get to build relationship with people in a way that matters to them when they're not in that window to buy and sell real estate. So
totally. I agree.
Well, good stuff, Bobby. If people want to connect with you, reach out to you, where do they go?
Sure. You call me. I think the numbers and stuff are linked below. 30alocalrealestate.com. You can look up some real estate. Or just reach out and give me a call. Text below or subscribe. We still have a subscribe button on there, right?
So it depends on where they're watching, but like if you're on YouTube, subscribe on there. If it's a podcast, subscribe on the podcast.
I will tell you something. If you tell me that you can't reach me, and I had somebody do that yesterday. Hey, we tried calling you and you weren't able to be reached. And I was like, yeah, right. I'm easy to find.
Interesting. Yeah, that's good. I like it. I think that's rare in this day and age of real estate. I think a lot of people don't answer their phones, but it's good. Well, Bobby, thanks again for the great episode. We'll catch you next time. Till then, be well.
Thank you, Chris.